This is the second video focusing on transfer test practice paper questions. A few tips before we begin. Read the question carefully, check your work and use every minute of the exam. If you finish early, check over your work again. Look at the three calculations below. 24 times 16, 384. 47 times 20, 940. 192 divided by 4 gives us 48. Use these to help you complete the calculations below. Our first question then, 48 multiplied by 16. Well, we're going to use this statement. And they have doubled 24 to get to 48. So I need to double that 384 answer. So 384 doubled. So I'm just going to add on another 384. 4 and 4 is 8. 8 and 8, 16. 1 over 3, 3, 1, 7. So my answer is 768. My next question, 47 times 40. Well, it comes from the middle statement, and they've doubled the 20 to give us that 40. So again, we need to double our answer. 940 plus 940. 0 and 0 is 0, 4 and 4 is 8, 9 and 9 are 18. 1880. My next question, 12 times 16. Well, it comes from our first statement. They have halved 24 to get to 12. So I need to half my answer on this occasion. So 384 divided by 2. 2 into 3 goes once, 2 into 18 goes 9, 2 into 4 goes twice, 192. And my final question, 192 divided by 8. Well, it comes from our third statement. And they have doubled the dividing by 8 to divide it by 4. Now with the division one, it's a little bit trickier. They're put into more pieces, so each of those pieces is going to be smaller. So they've doubled what you're dividing by, so you need to half your answer. So half of 48 is 24. Clara uses her calculator to carry out the calculation 485 times 3.9 equals 1891.5. Look at the calculations below. Tick the boxes next to the two calculations that give an answer of 1891.5. So the same answer. Two of these questions will give us the same answer. Let's look at our first statement. 48.5. Well, they've divided the 485 by 10. So I need to balance out, so I need them to multiply the 3.9 by 10, and they have, to make 39. So that one's going to give us the same answer. 485 has stayed the same, so we need that 3.9 to stay the same, but it hasn't. So we can count this one out. It's not going to be one of our answers. 485 has been divided by 100 this time. So I need them to multiply 3.9 by 100, and they have. So this should be our next one that gives us the same answer. But let's check the remaining questions, just to be sure. 485 has stayed the same. I need them to keep the other number the same, the 3.9, and they haven't, so we can rule that one out. 485 has been divided by 10. I needed to multiply 3.9 by 10, but they haven't. They've divided it by 10, so again, we can rule that one out. So the two we have chosen are the two correct answers. Jamie uses his calculator to carry out the calculation 50 times 24 equals 1200. Write the correct number in each box. You may use Jamie's calculation to help you. Our first one, 50 times 48. Well, they've doubled 24 to get to 48, so I just need to double my answer. So 2400. My next statement, 25 multiplied by 48. Well, they have halved 50 to get to 25, but they have then doubled 24 to get to 48. So our answer stays the same, because they've balanced one another out. They divided this side by 2, but they multiplied this side by 2. My next statement, 1200 divided by 50. We're using all the numbers that are up here. If we divide 50 into 1200, you're left with a 24. And the same idea for our last question, 1200 divided by 24. If I divide 24 into it, I'm left with a 50. Danielle uses her calculator to carry out the calculation. 56.3 times 7.2 equals 405.36. Look at the calculations below. Take two calculations that give us the same answer of 405.36. Our first statement, 5.63 multiplied by 7.2. Well, the 7.2 stayed the same. So I need the 56.3 to stay the same, and it hasn't. So we can rule that one out. My next statement, 563 multiplied by 0.72. Well, to get from 56.3, the original number, to 563, they have multiplied it by 10. So I need them to divide 7.2 by 10. And they have. So that is one of our correct statements. Third option, 5.63 multiplied by 72. So to get from 56.3 to 5.63, they have divided it by 10. So I need them to multiply 7.2 by 10. And it looks like they have, so that may be our second answer. But let's check the remaining two to be sure. 5.63, well, they've divided the original number there by 10. So I need them to multiply 7.2 by 10, but they haven't. They've multiplied it by 100. So they don't balance out. I'm going to rule that one out. And my last statement, 56.3 has stayed the same, so I need 7.2 to stay the same, but it hasn't. So the two we've chosen are the two correct ones. A teacher buys 31 pens at 30p each, 42 rubbers at 40 pence each, and 6 notebooks at 60 pence each. Find the total amount the teacher will have to pay. Write your answer in the space below. Well, it's basically asking us to do a little bit of multiplication and then add together our numbers. So we would take our 31 and we would multiply it by 30. Then we would take our 42, multiply it by 40. Then take our 60 and multiply it by 6 and add together the three totals. But there is an easier way. First question, we can go 30 times 30. We go 3 times 3 is 9, and then put your two zeros back on. So that's 30 pens, and then just add on another 30 because they bought 31. So 930, and turn it into money, £9.30. My next question, 40 times 40. 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. Then put your two zeros back on. But that was 40 rubbers. There's 42. So let's add on the cost of two more, which would be 80. So 1,680. And again, turn it into money. £16.80. My final one is just 6 multiplied by 60. 6 times 6 is 36. Put your zero back on and turn it into money. Now we know our three totals. All we've got to do is to add them. We have £9.30, £16.80 and £3.60. And we have to add them together. 3 zeros are 0. 3 and 8 give me 11, plus 6 is 17. 9 and 1 are 10, plus 6 plus 3 is 19. 1 over £29.70. Megan thinks of a number. She multiplies it by 7, then adds 2. Her answer is 191. What number did Megan think of? Well, this is basically a function machine. We start with a number. On this occasion, we don't know it. We have to then multiply it by 7, and then we have to add on 2, and we know that it's given us an answer of 191. So we need to work in reverse. So we take our 191, and we're going to subtract 2 to give me 189, And instead of multiplying by 7, we're going to divide it by 7. 7 into 18 goes twice, 4 over. 7 into 49 goes 7 times. So the number that she started with, and our answer, is 27. Look at the two numbers below, 0.45 and 0.7. Multiply the larger of the two numbers by 10. Often when this question is attempted, people think, well, 45 must be bigger than 7. But remember, if we're going to two decimal points, we can put a 0 in and then we can see that it's 0.70, which is obviously the bigger of the two. So we're going to multiply 0.7 by 10. And when we multiply by 10, we're just moving our decimal point to the right. It's going to get bigger. And we're going to move it one place because there's one 0. So my 0.7, my decimal point is moving to the right. It goes in here. So we end up with 7.0, which is just 7. Jason thinks of two consecutive numbers. When he multiplies the numbers, he gets 72. When he adds the numbers, he gets 17. What two numbers does Jason think of? Well, consecutive just means next to each other. So we need two numbers that are next to one another. And when we multiply them, we get 72. And when we add the two numbers, we get 17. And there only are two numbers that will fill in those boxes. 8 multiplied by 9 is 72. 8 plus 9 is 17. My two answers then, 8 and 9. A number is made up of 40 tenths, 8 tens and 3 hundredths. Hannah divides this number by 100. What decimal number does Hannah get? A lot of times boys and girls are thrown off by this 40 tenths. 40 tenths. That is just 4 units. So now we can easily write out our number. We've got hundreds, tens and units. We know that we have 4 units. We've got 8 tens and we've got 3 hundredths. And we have to divide this number by 100. So with division, we're going to be moving our decimal point to the left because the number is going to get smaller. And we're going to move it twice because there's two zeros. So 384 is just 384.000 and so on. And we're moving that decimal point two places to the left. 1, 2. So our new answer is 3.84. A chocolate eclair weighs 32 grams. Only 25% of its weight is cream. How many grams of cream are there in 50 chocolate eclairs? Well, I need to work out how many grams there are of cream in one chocolate eclair. So we need to find 25% of 32. 25% is a quarter. A quarter of 32 is 8. So we've got 8 grams in one chocolate eclair. But we have 50 of them and we need to work out a total. So 50 times 8. 8 zeros are 0. 8 fives are 40. My answer is 400 grams. Andrew has to fill a bag with grit from a container. The container holds 4 1/4 kilograms of grit. Each bag holds 1/3 of a kilogram of grit. How many full bags of grit can Andrew get from the container? Write your answer in the space below. Well, the container holds 4 1/4, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1/4 kilogram. We're told that he fills up bags that hold 1/3 of a kilogram. So from each of these kilograms, you can get 3 bags. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So far, Andrew has filled up 12 bags because each bag is 1/3 of a kilogram. Now we are left with 1/4. And we have to find out, can he fill up a bag that holds 1/3? Well, he can't because a quarter is smaller than 1/3. So he can only fill up 12 full bags of 3/4 kilograms of grit. What is 4.35 kilograms in grams? Well, we must remember that 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. Well, we can see that there's 4 whole ones, so straight away there's going to be 4,000. And then we still have some more, the 0.35, which is 350. But there's only one option really that can be the answer, because there's only one that's in the 4,000s. A book weighs 72 grams. What is the weight of 24 books? Law multiplication question. It's asking us to multiply 72 by 24. And we have to then convert that into kilograms. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 7 is 28. Put in my 0. Multiply 2 by 2 is 4. 2 by 7 is 14. And then add your two numbers. 8 and 0 is 8. 4 and 8 are 12. 4 and 2 plus 1 is 7. And then the last one, 1,728. And we need to put that into kilograms. So how many thousands are in that number? Well, there's 1. And what's left over? 0.728. Mints cost £7.40 for a kilogram. How much for 250 grams of mints? Well, 250 grams. That is 1/4 of a kilogram. And we know what a kilogram costs. So we have to work out 1/4 of it. So we divide 4 into £7.40. 4 into 7 goes once, decimal point in, 3 left over. 4 into 34 goes 8 times, and you've got 2 left. 4 into 20 goes 5. So 1/4 costs £1.85. Coffee costs £7.90 per kilogram. How much would 300 grams cost? This question's a little bit trickier. £7.90 for 1 kilogram. Well, let's work out what 100 grams cost. So I divide my weight by 10. So I need to divide my price by 10. £7.90 divided by 10 is 79. So 100 grams is 79p. We have to work out 300 grams. So I simply take my 79 and I multiply it by 3. 3 9s are 27, 2 over. 3 7s are 21, plus your 2 is 23. Put that into money, £2.37. A carton of milk containing 1.25 litres costs £2.15. What's the cost per litre? Write your answer in the space below. So 1.25 litres costs £2.15. Let's work out the cost of 250 millilitres. So to get from 1.25 down to 250, I divided it by 5. So I need to do the same to my price. I need to divide it by 5. So 5 into 215. 5 into 21 goes 4 times and 1 over. 5 into 15 goes 3 times. So 250 millilitres will cost me 43p. I need to work out the cost of a litre. So all I've got to do is times it by 4, because 250 millilitres is 1/4. So 43 multiplied by 4. 4 3s are 12, 1 over. 4 4s are 16, plus your 1 is 17, and put that into money, £1.72. And we have already worked out the answer to the next question. What's the cost of 1/4 of a litre? And there it was, our 43p. In 2012, the 12th of October will fall on a Friday. What day will the 12th of November 2012 fall on? Write your answer in the space below. Well, this is a bit of a calendar work question, so we write out a quick calendar. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we know that the 12th of October falls on a Friday. We can put that information into our calendar. And we know that there's 31 days in October. So let's add on 7 to the 12. Brings me up to 19, which is also a Friday. Add on another 7, brings me to 26, which is also a Friday. We're all now getting near the end of the month, so let's go on ones. Saturday's 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. Now, we're about to enter into November, so let's go the 1st of November. Then we can add on 7, the 8th of November. We need to work out when the 12th is. So now we're quite close, we can go on ones again. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So it falls on a Monday. Write 115 hours in days and hours. Write your answer in the space below. So it's basically asking us how many 24s are in 115. Quite a tricky division problem, and it's best approached with some repetitive addition. So 24 plus 24 brings me up to 48, plus another 24, 72, plus another 24, 96, plus another 24, and we're now up to 120, which is too far. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 days, brings us up to 96. Then I've got to count from 96 up to 115. So that is just a little bit of mental maths. Another 19 has been added on, so 19 hours. 4 days, and 19 hours. The news on TV lasts for 85 minutes. It finishes at 00:05, 5 minutes past midnight. At what time did it start? Write your answer as a 24-hour clock time. So it finished at 00:05. Well, let's take off that 5, bringing us to midnight. So we have 85 to take off. We've already used 5. So let's take off the 80 now. So we'll begin by taking off 60. Brings me to 11 o'clock at night. And we still have a further 20 minutes to take off. Brings me to 22:40, which is a 24-hour time, and which is our answer. A square tile is shown below. Find the area of the shaded part of the tile. So we can see that it is 6 by 6 by 6 because it's a square. We have 1, 2, 3 sections are shaded, and we need to work out the area of the shaded part. First off, the area of the entire thing. 6 multiplied by 6 is 36. We now need to work out 3/4 of 36 because there are 3/4 shaded. So I divide by the bottom, so 4 into 36, which is 9, and I multiply by the top, which was 3, giving me an answer of 27 centimetres squared.